It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh, with a lot to talk about today. With Valentine's Day being tomorrow in the greater West Bloomfield area, but earlier this week, the ladies of Sylvan Lake got a head start on the celebrations with a very special Valentine's Day event. Despite the snowy weather, the Toasted Mermaid Girls Night Out brought friends together for charcuterie, sweet treats, and plenty of wine and great company. You're taking out some of the footage right here that we got, as a matter of fact, that was captured by Kelly Krause with some of these great events, great smiles. Just looks like a great time with all that being said. If you are looking for the details on the next Girls Night Out event, you can reach out to Kelly Krause directly on the Facebook page of Sylvan Lake What's Going On. That's Facebook, Sylvan Lake What's Going On, for more information in regards to Girls Night Out. Guma Singer-Songwriter Night happens right here in Sylvan Lake, and if you are a fan of live music, Sylvan Lake has something special for you. It's every Thursday night. Guma hosts its singer-songwriter series, bringing talented artists together for an intimate night of music, and our very own Jake Schaff has the story.
Music is one of the true universal languages, and just recently, Guma Italian Restaurant in Sylvan Lake has been welcoming in so much music thanks to their Thursday Open Mic Night series, a chance for local singer-songwriters to stop by the restaurant, showcase their talent, and the chance to leave a valuable impression on the community with their music.
It definitely has been a work in progress since we opened a year and a half ago. We've been wanting to do this. We are very fortunate to have a connection to Billy, who knows the owner, and he's the one that kind of worked with Brad, the owner, to put this together for us. So far, we've had some really beautiful artists come in, and we're really excited to see what comes in the next few weeks. Since we've opened, we've had the stage here. And people have asked us, like, oh, do you do live music? And it was always, not yet, we want to in the future, this, that, the other. And as soon as we launched it the very first night, we had a full house. So it really made the community excited. It makes us excited. It's been a really good turnout.
It is wonderful. The staff is wonderful, and there's always great fans and people. And I just love singing and bringing joy to people, and while they're eating dinner and enjoying their evening.
How do you feel that this is going to help not just yourself, but just the entire music scene here in West Bloomfield?
Just performing and a place opening up their doors to live music always brings new fans and attention to not only the restaurant but to live music. And live music adds a great aspect and atmosphere overall to restaurants and bar scenes and all that kind of thing.
How do you think that these open mic nights help the atmosphere of Guma?
I think it just adds a little bit to it, just makes it a little more exciting than just having dinner, and then I think that we'll pull more people in, so I think it's fun for everybody. Hopefully it'll just keep catching on, and we're promoting it on social media, so hopefully it'll just keep going and going.
We have a big regular base, and we want to be able to bring those regulars all together. It's certain nights where everybody comes in at the same time and everybody knows each other. So adding the live music really gives them an opportunity to know, like, if they're going to come here for the live music, they're going to see familiar faces and be able to talk to their neighbors and friends that they haven't seen and just get together and enjoy the atmosphere and the music.
There have been so many pleasant sounds to come from this restaurant as of late, and there's going to be plenty more as this event continues to get popular. And the joy of music continues to be spread all throughout Greater West Bloomfield. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you so much for that story, Jake. And the next event, by the way, is Thursday, February 20th. Doors open at 4 p.m. and the show kicks off at 6 p.m. This weekly series features artists like Lily McPhee, Jackie Papas, Robert Lewis Jr., and so many more. So if you want to check it out, you can go ahead, head over to Guma on Orchard Lake Road in Sylvan Lake, or just visit them on their Facebook page, Guma Italian on Facebook for more information. Friendship is a great, great thing right here in the greater West Bloomfield area, but a friendship bond over volunteering is even greater. Volunteers are the lifeblood of our community, and for certain volunteers, their love for their library and their neighbors can both be enjoyed in one special shop. I actually had a chance to stop by and talk to some of the people and volunteers that make this shop very special. Here's the story.
Well, the Friend Shop originated when this building was designed. The shop was in the plans as a something to help the community find their gifts and also to sell pristine used books. And it was smaller than this. 2 years ago, they expanded it because we have so much to offer the community in this shop. We have gifts for infants to grandparents and gifts for people to buy for themselves.
We sell a lot of children's toys, we sell jewelry, we sell hats, gloves, all kinds of things, and we purchase those through vendors. We go to vendor shows, and we have specific vendors that we purchase from. What we concentrate on is trying to purchase things made in Michigan.
Proceeds from every book and gift item sold goes directly to programs that enrich our community. But one volunteer told me the reason why she believes patrons support the shop.
Well, I think it's just because the books here alone are beautiful. I mean, the books are like brand new books. So I think that helps in the money we raise here and the money that we make. Like they were saying, Ann and Miriam, that it gets donated to all these different programs. And then the community comes in and they can use those programs, which is, that's part of being, here.
Behind the scenes, these volunteers ensure the shop runs smoothly. From greeting customers to stocking shelves, their experience keeps them dedicated. Their dedication keeps the Friend Shop thriving.
I love to talk, and I'm a former teacher, so when people come in here, I learn so many different things about their lives, where they're from, if they're not originally from Michigan, if they're going on trips, what books they like. I have a grandson, I have a granddaughter. A lot of people, when they're working remotely, they'll come here and work. So they'll come in here and they'll ask, do you have any pencils? Do you have pens? Do you have chargers? That's a huge one, chargers. I'm studying for the LSAT, for going on to med school. We have the younger people coming in and asking for note cards. Yeah. So it really, it's very functional, very helpful for everybody.
And with February being Love Your Library Month, it's no better time to show your love and appreciation than through volunteering and supporting our local library. So you can find out more about what's going on at our local West Bloomfield Township Public Library on their Facebook at West Bloom LIB, or go directly to their website, wblib.org. Home safety tips specifically during the winter months can be very, very vital. There's a bunch of different things to consider when you're not only heating your home, but protecting your home from the outside cold and factors. So join us right here live on The Splash to help give out a few of those best tips and practices from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. We have Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist. Thank you for being here, sir.
Happy to be here. Good morning.
So, one thing I want to ask is out of curiosity, because we think of the fire department, we think of you only putting out fires. This is the winter time, not to say fires can't happen, but just want to know, how does the fire department, the West Bloomfield Fire Department, assist the community during major winter storms, and what resources are available?
Well, we respond to all types of emergencies. The most common that people think of are, fires, car accidents, and medical emergencies. But we also get called a lot this time of year for carbon monoxide alarms. We like to take a minute and just remind everybody, we always push smoke alarms and the importance of having working smoke alarms in your house. It's just as important to have working carbon monoxide alarms.
Okay, I get it. So you already went into a carbon monoxide, and that, like we said, that's just one of the things we don't even think about, carbon monoxide. We talk about smoke alarms so much, but that's another thing to explore, and we will get into that soon. So with that being said, also, Are there any winter-related home hazards that our West Bloomfield residents should be aware of that your department deals with on a common basis?
Yeah, a couple right off the top of my head are, you know, in the fall and especially in the winter, people like to use their fireplaces more often. It's not something you typically use in the warmer months around Michigan. But
Right.
before you use your fireplace, it's a great idea to have a chimney professional or a chimney sweep, somebody that's an expert in fireplaces, to come out and evaluate the chimney and clean the chimney, make sure it's ready to be used. When you have a fire in your fireplace, you want to make sure that you use clean, dry firewood, and you're not burning cardboard boxes or garbage or yard waste from your yard. You don't want to, you never want to bring that into your fireplace and use that. That clean, dry wood will give you a better fire. The smoke will be cleaner. It'll work better through your chimney and not build up the dirt and soot in your chimney that could lead to a chimney fire later on down the road. So it's important to have a professional come out and evaluate your fireplace and your chimney, make sure that it's clean and ready to be used.
Yeah. That doesn't seem like a bad idea, especially if you don't use it during certain months. It's just sitting there. It's probably just the smoke, soot, just building up after a while. Before you light it back up, make sure you do have a professional come check it out. And like you said, use appropriate firewood instead of just cardboard and random items as well. Love that perspective and for you providing that also. What about power outages? We are experiencing on and off snowstorms during our winter season right now, and I would like to know how people should basically respond or prepare for potential power outages during winter storms. I imagine that's different.
So, not necessarily different. We always advise if there's power lines down in your neighborhood, stay away from them. Keep in mind that if that power line is, landing on a chain link fence or on a shed, that those items might be energized. So you want to stay clear of those items as well.
Okay.
You don't want to touch any fences or play sets or anything in the yard that might be in contact with that power line. And it's good to keep in mind, don't let your dog out in the backyard if there's a power line down. So stay clear of that. It's good to prepare for the event of a power outage. If you have a generator, make sure that you've got fuel and it's ready to go. And if you use that generator, be sure to keep that generator at least 10 feet away from your house. Keep it away from any doors or windows. You never, ever want to run that in the garage because that runs the risk of building up carbon monoxide, which is that clear, odorless gas that you don't even know is there, unless your working carbon monoxide alarm tells you that there's a problem. So keep that stuff, keep it away from the house. Let it run. If you need to refuel it, turn it off. I know it's a little inconvenient. Turn it off. Go a little while without power. Let it cool down. You don't want to run the risk of spilling gasoline on a hot exhaust and starting a fire.
No, that's a lot to consider, but very important though, especially if you are running that generator. Like you said, give it some space so that smoke, that carbon monoxide coming from there does not leak into your home and things like that. That's another thing that we want to at least make sure we're conscious of. With us right here live on the Splash from the West Bloomfield Fire Department, Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist, just overall talking about home safety tips to help us deal with these on and off winter storms we are experiencing during the winter season. Don't want to hold you up too much longer, but do want to ask, because if I'm not mistaken, you all also respond to possible like frostbite, hypothermia calls and things like that. So can you just talk about advice or steps people should take if they are recognizing hypothermia or frostbite signs, or if they see it in someone else?
Yeah, you want to limit your exposure outside. And if you're going to be outside for an extended period of time, make sure that you're dressed appropriately. When I'm outside, I definitely need to wear a hat. You want to make sure you've got a hat. Make sure you've got some gloves or mittens and you're dressed appropriately. And it's really important to do everything you can to stay dry. You don't want to be exposed to the cold temperatures if you're sweaty or wet. That makes it much more dangerous to somebody that's exposed to the cold. And if you recognize somebody that's experiencing the cold weather and maybe they're not acting or responding appropriately, get them indoors, get them someplace warm.
Yeah.
And if there's not a heated area, if you can just get out of the wind sometimes, that will help. And if it really gets serious and you need help, don't hesitate to call 911, and we'll get a rescue on the way, and can evaluate somebody, and if need be, transport them to the hospital.
Okay, good. So that kind of leads into my next question, essentially. Are you aware, or do you know of if anyone is looking for adequate heating, do you know any local resources or assistance program nearby that people can actually get in contact with?
Yeah, at this time, I'm not aware of any, and we've been fortunate. We haven't had any major power outages in the area, so there's no warming shelter or anything like that set up at this time. But it's also a good idea. If you do lose power, don't try to heat your home with the stove. Don't try, if you're going to use a space heater or a kerosene type heater, again, you want to make sure that there's good ventilation. You want to make sure that any space heater is kept, at least 3 feet away from any combustible material, and never ever leave that space heater running. If it's plugged in, or any type of space heater, never leave it running when you're not there in the room with it. If you're leaving the room or you're leaving your house, turn it off. I know the house will cool off, but it's just, if you're going to use that type of heating device, you need to make sure that you're in the room with it in case there's a problem.
No, and it makes sense also, and thank you for breaking that down. With us right here live from West Bloomfield Fire Department, Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist. Thank you so much for your time. Do want to inquire, we did just recently have a house fire in West Bloomfield that affected the community. I just want to know if there's any updates, messages, or lessons from that situation that you would like to share with the community now.
No, there's no updates. Again, we always remind everybody, we've talked about carbon monoxide alarms. Those are important to have, but check your smoke alarms. Test those, make sure that they work. If they're more than 10 years old, replace them. You should have a smoke alarm on every level of your home, outside of the bedrooms, and one in each bedroom. And you want to make sure that those work. Those are designed to give you that early notification in the event of a fire that gives you as much time as possible to safely exit your home. It's a good time. It's also a great reminder. Practice your home escape plan. Make sure everybody in your house knows the plan, and make sure everybody can do it. If you're telling your 5-year-old that if they can't get out the bedroom door, go open the bedroom window, make sure that they can open the bedroom window. If they can't get out, they can at least open it, get some fresh air, and cry for help and scream for help. And when we get there, one of the first things we'll do is we'll throw a ladder to that window and get you out. So develop that plan, practice the plan, actually go through it, make sure that it works, and test those smoke alarms, make sure that they're in working order.
Well said, sir. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you again for your time and your information. Once again, from the West Bloomfield Fire Department, Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Great information from our West Bloomfield Fire Department to keep in mind for this winter. More resources available for Greater West Bloomfield residents as West Bloomfield Parks providing transit services for the cold winter months. And our very own Tyler Keefe has the story.
Here to join us to tell us even more about these transportation services provided by West Bloomfield Parks is their Marketing and Communications Manager, Megan Tahako. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this because it's an important service that is available. We have many different public transportation services people have to choose from in Greater West Bloomfield, whether it is the Western Oakland Transportation Authority or Smart Bus Services. But this is really a specialized service for residents of West Bloomfield and specific populations. Tell us a little bit about these transit services and who they're directly aimed to benefit.
Sure, absolutely. So our community transit program services anyone over the age of 55 that lives in West Bloomfield Township, or anyone that has disabilities. So ages 16 and up, anybody with a disability is eligible to use our services. And we provide transportation to medical appointments, grocery store, hair visits to get your hair done, social activities. So all types of different, things that people would need to do within the township.
And it's important too because not only are you taking them to some of those ever critical appointments, such as their medical visits or even the visit family, but you're taking them out and about in our community. I'd imagine, especially in the winter months for our senior population and even those with disabilities that may have issues with mobility, that really is important to keep them socialized in our community and knock down some of that isolation.
Absolutely. And, some people might be, even if they are still driving, they might feel intimidated if the roads are a little bit icy or snowy. So how great is it that you can have a nice warm bus come door to door, pick you up, drop you off. And our community transit drivers are so friendly and so passionate about serving this community and serving seniors. We really hope that it's just a great experience for our residents. And especially, in the winter, we do have a lot of seniors that maybe go south for the winter, but there's also a lot of seniors that choose to use our services a lot more just because they aren't comfortable driving in these conditions.
More information on these senior and disabled transit services can be found on wbparks.org. You can always get updates, too, on their ongoing programs and specialty programs on Facebook at WB Parks. And Megan, this is a great program. It helps a lot of people in our community, especially during the winter months where there is a little bit more treacherous conditions out on our roads periodically. So if people are interested in these services, they may be helpful to them in West Bloomfield. How do they go about getting those rides secured?
Sure. So we have a transportation coordinator in our office. His name is Ben Burr, and he handles all of our appointments and scheduling. He's also a driver, so he might be the person that picks you up out on the road. But the way to schedule services is you just call us. The number is 248-706-2411. And leave a voicemail on that line if Ben isn't available to answer. He will call you back in the order with which voicemails are received. We book medical appointments out 4 weeks in advance, and then we book any other type of trip. So if you want to go to the grocery store, hair appointment, any type of shopping or social activity, we book those 2 weeks out. So try to book up as soon as you can because the slots do fill up in advance. So we encourage people to call and get on our schedule as soon as they can.
Again, that phone number, 248-706-2411, 248-706-2411. Megan Tahako is with us, the Marketing and Communications Manager for West Bloomfield Parks, on today's edition of the Splash Live. As we talk about their special transit services that are available for seniors and for those with disabilities in our community. And this has a big benefit to people across the West Bloomfield Township area, but it has an interesting story, too, of how it developed. How did this ultimately come about between, it started as a partnership, I recall, but how did this develop into a full-scale program that's operated year-round?
Yeah, so I'm not even sure how it came to be. It came to be in 1981, so I wasn't even born yet. But we've been offering the service for many, many, many years. So it's always been funded through either federal or local grants. So right now we get funding through SMART. And so it's been a service that we've certainly built up over the years. Last year we provided more rides than we ever have in the past. We've been able to do that by hiring some additional part-time bus drivers. So right now we're up to 5 part-time drivers, and then we also have Ben, who's a full-time person on our team. But just that addition of some staff has really helped us to accommodate more appointments and expand our hours a little bit.
More information on the transit services provided by West Bloomfield Parks can be found on wbparks.org. You can also get plenty more information on their ongoing programs, special events, and so much more fun happening across Greater West Bloomfield on Facebook at WB Parks. And you mentioned that it's become really an important service for our senior population, for those with disabilities in our community. But what is really the reaction or the response that these residents have when they do take a few of these trips and it does ultimately bring some of that convenience back into their life that may not be there, especially in our winter season?
Yeah, it's really heartwarming to see some of the responses we get from customers. For some people, it really is their lifeline out of their home. And it's just such an important service that we can offer the community. And it really does help some seniors stay in their homes longer than they would have been able to otherwise. We recently did a survey of our transit customers just to make sure that our customer service is going well. We always try to send surveys following events, programs, all the different things. And we recently did one for our community transit service. And I have one quote that I wanted to read that I thought was really meaningful. This is from a customer's family member. And he said, "I cannot say enough positive words for Ben and his team. Truly grateful and thankful for their thoughtfulness, patience, professionalism, friendship, and compassionate care. They are wonderful people, and our family is so thankful that my father has the whole team in his life." So it was just, we get a lot of comments like that. Our drivers are all retired professionals that do this just like truly out of the goodness of their heart. They enjoy speaking with seniors, hearing their stories, spending time with them. So we are very fortunate that we have a really passionate group of individuals that provide this service to the community.
And that's what it's all about, providing a service that really is helpful for our seniors and those with disabilities in our community. And this is operated year-round, so it doesn't just help them in the winter season when those road conditions can be a little bit difficult. It helps them whenever they need it with a little bit of advance notice and a call over to West Bloomfield Parks. 248-706-2411 is the phone number, 248-706-2411. We'll leave that up there briefly as it is currently at the bottom of your screen on CivicCenterTV.com. Megan Tahako is with us from West Bloomfield Parks as we talk about their community transit services. Megan, anything that we missed in this conversation or more information people should know as maybe they prepare to take advantage of this system here in our community?
Yeah, one other piece that I would just let people know is that while we have, our individual door-to-door pickup for medical appointments, grocery visits, all those types of things, we also have a lot of trips that really offer more of a social component. So we are planning all types of excursions throughout Metro Detroit, and people can sign up and they really get that social interaction. And it really is a mix of people who, can drive themselves here to get on the bus. And then we also do home pickups. So it's a combination of people. It's not just homebound seniors. It's not just seniors that are still able to get out and about. But we have all kinds of trips that we offer each season. And it really is a great way for seniors who maybe just aren't comfortable driving all over Metro Detroit, but they still want to get out and experience life and see things and go places and try new foods and do all of the things. So that program is incredibly popular, and it really is such a nice service. And the only reason that we're able to offer it is through our partnership with Community Transit.
Special programs close to home to keep you close to home. Megan, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you again for that story, Tyler. Great information and resources that are available right here in our greater West Bloomfield area from WB Parks. We'll continuously keep you updated with more things and resources from our very own WB Parks. And we'll be talking about other things that are happening right here in our greater West Bloomfield area that you may want to attend and support. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
What people are watching in Kego Harbor. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. In the 2025 Black Expo, presented by WB Parks, is Saturday, February 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Orchard Mall. It's in celebration of Black History Month, where you can enjoy booths, demos, and displays highlighting careers, resources, and Black-owned businesses. And there's a local dentistry that's supporting this year's Black Expo, and our very own Jake Schaff has the story.
The Black Expo is quickly approaching here in West Bloomfield, and several local Black-owned businesses are excited to be taking part in such a valuable opportunity to connect with the rest of the community. One of those businesses is Caring Smiles Family Dentistry, a husband and wife-owned family dentistry who see the Black Expo as an incredible opportunity to celebrate Greater West Bloomfield's diversity.
Oh, really excited to be involved with it. This is our third year doing it, and it celebrates a lot of the small Black-owned businesses in the area, and so we like to collaborate with a lot of businesses and have them, share their offerings and things that they are able to provide for the community with us, and then we like to do the same thing with them. We do a lot of collaborations on social media as well, so we're just happy to meet the community and hopefully meet some new potential patients as well. I remember one of the different community organizations reached out to us, and they were asking us if we wanted to become involved with it. And we jumped at the opportunity because we like doing different activities with the community. Anytime we have the opportunity to be involved with the community, that's something that we like to do. And so being able to do it for the third year now, we're really excited because every year the event has grown to more and more people and more businesses. And we love just meeting the businesses and seeing their journey. It inspires us, and hopefully we're able to inspire other people as well.
Why is it so important to be highlighting this diversity here in West Bloomfield?
I think it's just important because this being a diverse community, when we go into the schools and talk to a lot of the students, we want people to be able to see someone that looks like them and they say, oh, I can do that too. And so I think just having a different races and different backgrounds of people that are able to show the next generation that, if you really work hard, no matter where you're from or where your upbringing has been, you have that opportunity to succeed in whatever you want to do in life.
I love being a part of the Black Expo because I think it's a great way to expose people to our office, Caring Smiles Family Dentistry, because a lot of people don't get to see Black dentists. And I was fortunate enough, I grew up, my dentist was Black, and I actually saw myself being able to do that. And I think that it gives people who might be nervous about going to the dentist, seeing someone who looks like them, it makes you feel a little bit less nervous sometimes. Being a small business owner is a lot of work, it's a lot of time commitment, and it's really easy to isolate yourself. So it's really nice when you can take time to go out and meet other people who are doing the same thing and connect and share ideas, share different companies. People might be looking for someone to help with their website or anything that all small businesses can relate to. It's really nice building that community.
We just want to continue to collaborate and meet other businesses and just let them know that we're here in the West Bloomfield area. We've been here for a long time. We're excited. Our doors are always open. We have the ability in the future to hold events here at our office here, and we want to involve as many people from the community as well. So just making those connections with people and letting them know our doors is always open if they want to connect with us.
Spreading smiles and positivity every step of the way, Warren and Amira have so much to look forward to with this year's Black Expo, as do the many other businesses who are going to be taking part in this incredible yearly tradition. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you again for that, Jake. And once again, the Black Expo is presented by the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force, which is in partnership with WB Parks, WB Public Library, and WB Township, as well as the community volunteers. So we're looking forward to that event. And Splash of Bold Creations is one of the many vendors expected to be at this year's Black Expo, offering incredible jewelry creations, by the way. Here to tell us more about her business and the opportunity is the founder of Splash of Bold Creations, Sylvia Neal. Thank you for being here, Sylvia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. It's a pleasure. So first and foremost, just start off with the story and the inspiration behind Splash of Bold Creations.
Okay, so I started out under a different name. Actually, my original name was called Oshintade Creations. And the whole business started from a seminar that I went to regarding African beads back in the 90s. I went to a seminar to learn more about African beads, and at the end of the seminar, the gentleman leading everything asked if anyone was interested in learning how to make jewelry. I had never made jewelry before in my life, and I said, sure. Out of all the people that attended the seminar, I was the only one that stayed over. And I learned how to make jewelry, and as a matter of fact, he was a master beadsmith in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
And he took me under his wing and showed me all the little tricks of the trade, and just gave me a lot of inspiration, gave me a lot of beads, just to get me started. And it started out as a hobby, and I still look at it as a hobby because it's something that I enjoy doing. And I do it in my spare time. I don't feel like I'm under a lot of pressure to do it. But over the years, my dad had gotten involved with doing open air shows with the canopies and all of that. And so it grew into much more than I had ever anticipated. Then one day I woke up and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. That was late 90s. And 2 years ago, I started again. I opened up some totes and found my beads and found all of my tools and stuff. And I said, you know what? Let me get back into
Let's
this.
go. Yeah.
And since then, it has become really a stress reliever for me. And so that's why I'm still doing it. But then when I started back up, I asked my daughter if I should keep the old name or if I should get a new name. And she was the one who actually came up with a Splash of Bold Creations. So here I am.
Okay, you brought it full circle right there. I like
Yes.
that. Okay, cool.
Yes.
That's evolution. That's going through changes and adapting and stuff like that. I'm not mad at it, and I love that story.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
providing
you.
that. So, with that being said, like there's a lot of different meanings behind African beads, I would assume, right? So can you just kind of break down maybe some of the meanings or significance behind some of these African beads, or what just makes this overall use of African beads different from other jewelry?
Well, now I don't just use African beads. I use, sometimes I use crystals, sometimes I use glass beads, sometimes I use lava beads. It just depends, and I don't restrict myself to one particular culture. I use beads from Italy, I use beads from Africa, I use from Czechoslovakia. I use them from all over. It doesn't matter to me where they come from. And I found that I have gravitated towards certain colors, but overall, beads have great significance, especially in the African culture. Some have, a lot of them have fertility powers, powers of just positivity and friendship and love. So it really depends on the type of bead that you get and from what country it comes from. It has different meanings.
Yes, I would imagine it's good high vibrational type of jewelry. Good energy, high energy. I love that overall. And thank you for also breaking it down. It's not just African beads. It's beads and stones from everywhere, glassware as well. So I love to hear that and see, that you are, branching off to different cultures and nations with their material as well. That's interesting to see. But I want to kind of go into the actual Black Expo now, right? Can you just talk about what it means to you to actually be a part of this event right here in West Bloomfield?
I think it's important because West Bloomfield especially is a very diverse city. And when I first did it a few years ago, I was really expecting just people who look like me to be there and people like me, that look like me to support my business. But what I've noticed, and when I do other shows, is that it's not just people who look like me, it's people from other diverse backgrounds that support me and buy from me. And so I think that I stand out because my jewelry looks different from every other jewelry maker that I have seen and have worked around at other shows. And I'm just glad that people support me and believe in me and know that what the product that they're getting from me is an original product. I don't make two of anything that look exactly the same. You may see jewelry that have the same beads, but the arrangement is different. It might have a different pendant. So I'm glad that people support me and believe in what I do. So I'm happy about that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It has to be a great feeling to see that, be a part of that, and just see that, you know, it may be the Black Expo, but like you said, different people, different diversities and ethnic groups all coming together to support and to, you know, to find out more and ask questions and network. And it's just a beautiful thing overall. I love to hear and see about it. Once again, join us right here live on The Splash is the founder of Splash of Bold Creations, who will be a vendor at the upcoming 2025 Black Expo, Sylvia Neal, talking about her own work, the story behind her brand, and participating in the Black Expo as well. Can you just kind of expound a little bit more on how you see events similar to Black Expo actually contributing to the success and visibility of Black-owned businesses in the greater West Bloomfield area?
The only other one or other two that I really see going on in West Bloomfield area, not necessarily West Bloomfield, but I participate in Waterford arts events, notably art sale, and also Oakland County Farmers Market is where art sale is held, but also Waterford community, what is it called? Community Center in Waterford. They also have events. It's not necessarily a Black Expo type of event, but it's just a general event that's nearby that I participate in as much as I can because you get good vibes, it's good people, good organizers that do all the right things to make sure that the vendors have what they need and they do good advertising, just like Black Expo. They do a great job at advertising, getting people in, getting good vendors. And so those are the type of events that I look for when I'm choosing, you know, where I want to show my jewelry. It's really important.
Right, right. A place that essentially gives you a platform, like we said, to be visible in the community, for people to know that you exist and for you to present your unique goods that you have that, like you said, are one of a kind that you can't necessarily get from anywhere else. And I love that. With that being said, one of a kind, uniqueness, creativity, what role do you think art, creativity, and cultural craftsmanship plays in empowering communities and preserving heritage as well?
I think that it's really important because when people ask me about certain beads, I can tell them 99% of the time, especially if it's African beads, I can tell them kind of like the story behind it, what it means to me to put certain beads together. I think that color for me plays a big role because a lot of times I won't make jewelry. I've purchased beads years ago and have not used them yet because it just doesn't speak to me. It doesn't work for me yet. So I'm patient when it comes to doing that type of thing as far as putting beads together and just letting people know what the beads mean and hopefully that they will embrace and look at the jewelry for the original quality that it has, for the uniqueness that it has.
Right, right. And that's good that they get that educational piece behind it with the knowledge that you have to share with that. I don't want to hold up too much more of your time, Sylvia. We appreciate you for being here. One key question I would love to know for you to share with our audience, as a matter of fact, any message that you would like to share for aspiring business owners and entrepreneurs who want to turn their passion into a business?
I think the most important thing is to never give up. And I never looked at myself as an artist. I have family members who make murals on buildings and draw and sell their art. And I'm not artsy like that. I've always been interested in different crafts and things like that, but never give up. Just try it. You may find your niche. And I didn't give up. I kept trying, and it's not easy. I'm not able to do a lot of the things that I used to do because making jewelry, especially with wire, it's hard on your hands, and working with small beads is hard on your eyes. But I still plug away because that's something that I love. Like I said before, it's a good stress reliever for me. And so whatever I can do to relieve stress, but also still bring joy to customers, past customers, they still support me, and new customers. Just keep plugging away. Don't give up. There's a lot of information out that can help you grow your business or grow your craft, grow your hobby, and just seek those things out. And just keep going. Just keep going. Don't let anyone discourage you. And you're your own worst critic. Remember that. But don't be critical of yourself. Just keep trying and know that you put in the hard work, it will pay off. That's my message.
I couldn't have said it better myself. As a matter of fact, I agree with that. Do all things in love. Hate is the only sin, if you ask me. Thank you so much for your time, your information.
Thank you.
Once again, founder of Splash of Bold Creations, a vendor at the 2025 Black Expo, Sylvia Neal. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We love that. Once again, the 2025 Black Expo happening Saturday, February 22nd, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Orchard Mall. Free admission, family friendly, and over 75 vendors. For more information, visit them on their website, wbparks.org, for more information. Valentine's Day is today, so that means you may be getting some of those red candy hearts and things of that nature. But did you know the FDA has ordered food and drug manufacturers to remove red dye number 3 from products by January 15, 2027? Something to consider when you are buying these red products and candies, right? So to explain a little bit more from a professional standpoint, joining us right here live on The Splash, registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health, Hallie Saperstein. Thank you for being here, Hallie.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being here first and foremost because this sparked my own curiosity, and I want to kind of get into it. Your initial thoughts on the FDA's decision to ban this red dye number 3.
I think it's fantastic. Definitely a step in the right direction. If I can give you a little bit of history, there's something called the Delaney Clause that was effective in 1958. And it was it's part of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. And they it was a clause to say that food additives, if they cause cancer in rats or humans, they must be banned. But in the 1980s, they started studying red dye number 3, and they found that it caused thyroid cancer in rats. And so since the 1990s, they've actually been trying to ban it in food. And actually, before they banned it in food, they banned it in makeup. So I found that to be quite interesting, like in lipsticks and things, because they found that wouldn't be safe, but yet it was still in our food. So there's a lot of, it's crazy. So there's all these watchdog organizations. One is called CSPI, the Center of Science and Public Interest. They've been fighting for years. And finally, it is a priority in the federal government to ban it. So I think it's great for consumer protection and consumer safety, as we've found that it can cause thyroid cancer in rats, and it does cause neurobehavioral issues in people.
First and foremost, thank you for that history lesson. A lot of information that I wasn't privy to, but I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience wasn't privy to as well. With that being said, there's a lot of things that we may or may not know about what's in our food and the things that we consume. So with that being said, how can parents of West Bloomfield be more aware of some of these harmful food additives to make healthier choices for our families?
Great question. First of all, you want to pay attention, stay informed, read the news. It's all over, and try to make better choices. Always buy fresh food over processed. So always, when you're shopping, shop the perimeters of the grocery store because you're going to find the fresh food. We always say, as children especially, eat a rainbow. Eat all different colors, and you can make your plate vibrant. When your kids come home from school, instead of putting out a processed snack. You could put out fresh fruit, you could put out fresh vegetables, make it fun, put dips out there. Like I said, eat a rainbow. Number two, you could read labels. When you're, to stay informed, look at the back of packages. After I did my recent article for Henry Ford on food dyes, we actually started looking through our labels in our pantry and found there's a lot of hidden food dyes. So you have to definitely, be proactive and look at things. Be creative, find things that you can color your baked goods with. You can use berries, you can use nuts, you can use different things that are going to add color without adding additives.
Interesting.
Unnatural. There's also natural food coloring you can buy. So if you're making cakes and cookies, you can find natural food dyes just where you'd find your regular food coloring in the baking section, and you can use those. They use turmeric and they use beet juice and things like that to color things. And then also stay informed by looking at different websites. There's one called safemama.com, and on that website, there's a list of food dye free snacks. So that way you can try to stock up your pantry and, with those healthier things and go from there.
It makes sense. But just like, go ahead, continue, please.
Oh, no, you're fine. You go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, but essentially what I was saying, I just want to bring up what you just said. When you look into your own cabinet, and once you're conscious of these things, you'll start to notice these type of things are in a lot of our different foods and drinks, and like you even said, lipsticks and things of that nature. So what are some of the biggest challenges families will face when trying to transition to this dye-free or additive-free food options?
So the biggest challenge, I think cost may be a challenge.
Yeah.
So just to keep in perspective, there's over 3,000 foods that contain red dye number 3. So you have to kind of look through the others, and so so the challenge could be it's increased production costs to not use this red dye number 3, which actually comes from petroleum. And there's a decreased demand, so at this time, we don't have as many products out there that are without, these dangerous food dyes, but so the cost might be higher. Food additives also keep our foods fresh longer. Not the food dyes in particular, but just food additives in general. They can slow the microbial activity and slow a chemical reaction. So foods might not stay fresh as long if they don't have additives in them. And also, the food might look different to your kids because they're used to having colorful M&Ms and Skittles and things like that. And so just educating our children on, why we're making this change, and hopefully they'll buy into it.
No, I understand that too, especially when you spoke on food looking different, possibly even tasting a little bit different, lasting a little bit different. Once we remove the dyes and the additives, we're looking at completely different food for the most part. But I want to kind of speak on that to a certain angle. With us right here live on The Splash, registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health, Hallie Saperstein, talking about the FDA removing red dye number 3, or I should say banning it, and requiring manufacturers to remove it from their products by January 15th, 2027. Now, one thing I want to speak on is the United States compared to other countries when it comes to our food. How does the U.S. compare to other countries when it comes to food safety regulations, and what lessons can we learn from them?
So that's a good question. We actually we compare favorably, number one. I found that really interesting during my research. In 2022, we actually ranked 13th out of 113 countries on their Global Security Index for food safety. But what we're behind in is the food additives. So food dyes and things like that. Like, for instance, in the European countries, they've actually banned red 40, the yellow dyes, and the blue dyes, and they're actually in the process of banning green dyes. But here, we're just starting out, and we're banning red number 3. So we are just we're going in the right direction, but it's definitely going to take time to make all the changes.
Yes, and from my research that I'm looking here, if I'm not mistaken, in September 2023, California became the first U.S. state to ban 6 synthetic food dyes, including Red 3 and Red 40 as well, for some of those risks that we were talking about. But now this is more of an entire country thing, with the FDA doing it as well.
Yeah.
So, and me going to different countries before, I've experienced different fruits and vegetables that look a little bit different and taste a little bit different, but now kind of putting it into context, it's because different food and safety regulations from different countries and governments. So thank you for also providing that. Also, are there any natural alternatives that exist for food coloring? And can you just explain how people can incorporate them into their diets?
Yes, so there's definitely natural food dyes that we can use So if you're baking, the easiest one is if you go to the grocery store, there's right next to the unnatural food dyes, there are natural food dye packages. Now they might be a bit more expensive, but they're using turmeric extract, carrot extract, spirulina for green, berries for purple. They use beet juice and vegetable juice for these dyes. And the other thing is you don't really need the dye. You know, you can just make your things look more pretty. Like if you're making a cake, for instance, instead of using a colorful dye, you could just throw a bunch of berries on top and make it beautiful. So.
That sounds good. I'm getting hungry now.
Doesn't it? I know, right? Sounds much better than food dye.
But here's what I really want to get at, right? With this ban happening in less than 2 years now, obviously it's going to affect food manufacturers, but on a local level, it's going to affect grocery stores and the food that they supply. So how do you think this ban will impact local grocery shopping and product availability in our greater West Bloomfield area?
So I think the products are going to, I think there's going to be more products, that are going to be out there as time goes on. Again, I want, I think I recommended using different websites to sort of see what's out there. There's already products on the market, like Goldfish crackers. They use natural food dyes, which is amazing. They've been doing that for quite some time. So I really don't anticipate too many bumps in the road. I actually see some of the grocery stores even promoting these products because they know that we're trying to make our foods healthier and we're trying to keep, our consumers healthy. So I think they're going to start, maybe highlighting them and end caps at grocery stores, especially the local grocery stores. I find that, people here are very health conscious in West Bloomfield. So I see it as being a benefit. But like I said, there are 3,000 products with this red dye number 3, and there's probably a third that don't have that dye. So it's just going to take some time to kind of move them off the shelves. But like you had said too, we have till January 15th of 2027.
Correct. A lot of good key information that you're giving us right here, and don't want to hold you up too much longer. Any additional information that we should know about in regards to these food additives or dyes, or just anything in general with the food that we consume?
Yeah, just be mindful. Start reading labels. Start seeing what's in products. I mean, things as simple as like brownie mix has all these different additives. And so, trying to start to look at different recipes that you can make with your family, and it's also fun, that are not using all these additives, not using processed foods. Like I said, using, shopping the perimeters, because you want to avoid a lot of different things, not only just food dyes, but like high fructose corn syrup, MSG, brominated vegetable oil, which they find in sports drinks, which is crazy. They put all these things in that have been found to cause cancer, or some cause heart disease, like trans fats. And so we just want to make consumers more aware and try to, and like I said, there's so many resources at our fingertips with the web, with the internet. You can kind of shop before you actually enter the grocery store. Right. So just kind of use your resources and make good choices.
I like that you brought up the fact of reading our ingredients. I think it's a whole nother topic to get into, how to read some of these food labels, some of the words and the nutritional facts on there. That's a whole nother conversation. Maybe we'll have you back on to talk about that. But we appreciate your time and information. Once again, registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health, Hallie Saperstein. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
A lot of great information to learn there. And like we said, not necessarily to spoil your Valentine's Day, but something to keep in mind when you're buying sweets for your sweets today. So keep up with everything in regards to that. You can rewatch that interview on our website, civiccentertv.com. And you can follow us on all social media, by the way. We're on Facebook, Civic Center TV 15. Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Civic Center TV. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. We are live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.